So, in the past few days, one of the most anticipated games in recent years finally dropped, and that is The Day Before. But, unfortunately, it's not exactly the game everyone thought it would be. In 2021, a game developer by the name of Fantastic dropped this footage of a game where two players were traversing around an abandoned city, looting buildings and encountering both zombies and other players. And after 2 years and many questions being asked about the lack of any solid updates on the game or any footage being shown, it even got to the point where people fully believed that this game wasn't even real and is just an outright scam. But lo and behold, it has finally been released on Steam, and well, it's fucking terrible. Just an empty shell of the game that we were being led to believe we were getting. Launch day went down like a shitstorm, and it's gone from one of the most wish-listed games on Steam to one of the most worst reviewed games on Steam. Honestly, I am really not surprised at all of this. I could see it coming from about 20 miles away, honestly. From the drop of the first footage, it was obvious. From the get-go, I knew that this wasn't going to be what we expected. The first trailer we were shown was put together to try and make us conceive it as actual gameplay, but really, it was just made up to sell us some sort of idea. The various delays that happened over the years only fueled the fire when it came to people not believing that this game is even real, myself included. So at this point, you may be asking, what is actually wrong with the game? Well, for a game being sold as an open world MMO, its open world is a complete empty wasteland. It's awful. With barely a single zombie in sight wherever you go, and where a few buildings are accessible and the ones that are just as empty as the rest of the world. And calling this an MMO is just absurd. On launch day, it was practically impossible to join a server, and if you were unlucky enough to actually get into one, then you were met with the most bare-bone multiplayer game to date. They honestly must have whipped this whole game together the day before release, as it is just missing such vital features for a supposed MMO. It only has proximity text chat, and the proximity seems to be pretty fucking big, as you could have people typing in the chat and they could be fucking streets and streets away, that you're going to be looking for a good while. It also doesn't help that the whole map is just put together so fucking awfully. You'll find yourself trying to traverse around all these different ways to just get stuck behind a giant wall most of the time. So you're constantly going around trying to find these different ways through, and some of the times it's just impossible. The missions dotted around the map are so fucking dull and boring, you'll probably just give up doing them after a couple of tries, as all they consist of is just gathering supplies and maybe shooting the odd occasional 2 or 3 zombies here and there. Just absolute tedious shit that will make you want to refund the game immediately. Honestly, it's games like this that really need to be cracked down on by platforms like Steam. An obvious scam that shouldn't even be sold for £5, let alone 40. Honestly, if you are somewhat curious to give this game a try, then I'll just give you a little heads up now. Don't. Unless you like empty walking simulators, then I honestly would not bother. Anyway, I just wanted to go over this whole situation and try and give you a bit of insight on what's been going on. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.